The following is Dr. Serge P. Francois' personal story of how he overcame the odds and is now sharing this experience with others.
Okay, now let me tell you my personal history. I got in what I'm doing today. Okay? 6.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with severe congestive heart failure. I was given 6 months to live without a heart transplant. When I checked myself in the hospital, doctor told me that before you walk out of here, after they stabilized me, because when I walked in, I couldn't even breathe. Okay? And mind you, I was cycling 150 miles a week, very athletic. I thought I would be the last person that would develop congestive heart failure. Of course, I've had all these signs of symptoms. Of course, doctors, we don't die, right? Okay? You don't develop any kind of diseases and so on. So, and I finally checked myself in the hospital when I was told that you only have 6 months. Without a heart transplant, you can only survive only 6 months. Without a heart transplant, without a defibrillator, okay, of course, a bunch of medications. At that instant, I felt that there was a lesson to be learned out of that. Okay? I thought God was trying to tell me big signs, say, well, you need to slow it down because I was a superhuman. I had several practices here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Houston in the Valley, running, cycling, and I'm a pilot, flying, and to me, sleeping was a luxury. Okay? So my heart gave out on me. For that moment, when the doctor began to walk out when I was in the hospital, he began to walk out, I said, listen, I need to go call your brother because my brother is a physician. Him and I went to medical school together. Mind you, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a chiropractor. I deviate from medicine to chiropractic. Okay? And both myself and my brother went to medical school together, and he was calling to find out my diagnosis and my prognosis. And I told the doc, he said, I need to go talk to your brother. I said, no, before you walk out of here, let me tell you 3 things that's not going to happen. Well, he told me that we're going to be doing 3 things. Number 1, you're not going to walk out of here without put you in on a heart transplant list. Number 2, you're going to walk out without a defibrillator. Number 3, we're going to do a stress test on you, but we're going to be doing a chemical-induced stress test because you'll die on the treadmill. Because I said, doc, there are 3 things that's not going to happen. You're not going to put my heart transplant list. You're not going to put a defibrillator in my body. And I'm going to walk out of here. I mean, we're going to do a stress test on me, but you're not going to put any chemical in my body. Of course, I'm supposed to know these things, right? Said, do you believe that you'll die on the treadmill? Mind you, if anyone were to walk in my office, same condition, I'd be the one calling 911. I'll say, hey, don't walk out without a defibrillator. Make sure they put you on the heart transplant list. Not so much because I felt that I was so sacrilegious, that I was superhuman and so on. It's not that at all. I felt that God was telling me something, but I didn't know what it was. Okay? So what I did, just like the same thing I'm telling you guys, I went to begin to research what caused my heart to fail. Okay? And I found out I have a lot of heavy metal toxicity. Of course, I was under tremendous amount of physical, mental stress, and so on for the lifestyle that I was living. I thought I was eating right. Remember earlier I said I wish I wanted to live to be 101. Okay, until I have that wake-up call. Okay, now I'm planning to live 110 because I know that I have a better knowledge that the human body works now. When you become you begin to focus a little bit differently. Okay, so, and totally changed my lifestyle, do a lot of advanced testing to see all the deficiency that I had, and my hormone was imbalanced. Okay, I had a lot of nutritional deficiencies and so on. I began to replenish all those nutrition into my body, purge all the heavy metal toxicity out of my system, remove all the amalgam out of my mouth, okay, and began to do a series of oxidative therapy, and gradually everything began to reverse. Like I said earlier, all this condition can be reversed. I showed you my blood work earlier. Hemoglobin was 6.5 down to 5.4. Okay? So all these conditions can be reversed. Okay? This is the reason that I want to share that. At that moment, I decided to go into retirement. The moment I walk out of the hospital, I decided to go into retirement. And I came back out of retirement to do what I'm doing today. There's a gentleman, I think, as a matter of fact, this gentleman here, okay, has a very interesting testimony as well. He's a personal friend of mine that I've had multiple lung collapse, multiple heart attacks, and I helped him turn his health around. This is when he told me, you should come out of retirement because you need to help others with those same similar conditions. Okay? And this is what I'm here today, educating you about not to allow the same thing that have occurred to me to go down that same path as well. To me, it was a wake-up call, okay, to do what I'm doing today. And I found out this is what I was supposed to learn from that experience, okay? Now, in 2007, this is when I was first diagnosed with congestive heart failure, okay? My ejection fraction was about 14–15%, okay? Anybody know what the ejection fraction is?
We are the lay people.
Huh? No, anybody know what ejection fraction is? Ejection fraction is when is the amount of blood that is being pumped by your left ventricle to the rest of your body. The left ventricle receives 100% volume of blood, and it ejected, it's supposed to eject a normal individual, minimum of 50% of that volume. 50 to 65%. That's normal for a healthy individual. In my case, it was 14–15%. Otherwise, I was dying. Okay? Imagine I was on my deathbed and I said, God, what is it I'm supposed to learn out of this? Because I knew there was a lesson to be learned. When I told the doctor that I don't want to be in life, they thought that I was delusional. Of course, when they break that news to you, first of all, you're in denial. They thought that I was in denial. Okay? So, and in June 2008, follow-up examination, ejection fraction increased 32 to 35%. Imagine I got to a point I can't even go flat upstairs without catching up my breath. I couldn't even walk. If I walk for more than 5–10 minutes, I have to sit down somewhere. Okay? And 2008, you can see the progression there. Now, to make a long story short, okay, my last echocardiogram, last year, my ejection fraction was 65%. Everything back to normal. Okay? And the same thing I'm recommending to you, there's the same thing I've done. And until today, I'm just doing the same test to make sure that I live a life regardless of my age, to live a life full of vitality and longevity. Anybody can do that, okay? Now, let me share those records with you. This is when I was first, because sometimes when I tell people that story, it sounds like a beautiful story, like a sci-fi story, okay? Okay, now, you notice here, Mr. Francois was noted to have a new onset of severe dilated cardiomyopathy. That's been inflammation of the heart muscles. In the setting of poorly controlled blood pressure, the patient ejection fraction was 15–20%. That was December 2007, okay? And after 6 months of medical treatment, after 6 months of medical treatment, the patient continued to have severe cardiomyopathy, then he may be considered a candidate for defibrillator implantation for sudden cardiac death prevention. The patient has voiced understanding he would like to continue with medical treatment. The patient is also keenly pursuing chelation therapy and alternative medical treatment to improve blood pressure control in CHF. Okay? Just to tell you, when I was in my deathbed, it was not a story. This is exactly what I told the cardiologist. Okay? Now, that was December 2007. Now, as you can see here, there's May 2008. Okay? Ejection fraction has improved to 35%. And I had mild, before I have severe bicuspid and tricuspid regurgitation. Let me explain that to you. The valves in the left ventricle, right ventricle, rather than closed when the heart contracted, remains open. So therefore, the non-oxygenated blood, actually the blood mixing up together, that is known as regurgitation. And that causes your heart to beat very rapidly because of the demand you put on your system, and then eventually you suffer sudden cardiac death and die. Okay? And June 2008, increased to 40%, okay? And December 2009, ejection fraction 50%, and everything else went back to normal. And November 2010, still 50%, but post-exercise, 75%. There's a maximum that it can go. And last year, September 2013, if you look down here, estimated ejection fraction, 65%. It cannot be any better than that. Any better, I'll be Superman. Okay? Everything else went back to normal.
Thank you for watching. We hope it was educational and informative for you. Call us today to schedule a comprehensive consultation with Dr. Serge P. Francois by calling 817-416-8700 or visit our website at southlakevitality.com.